Hello, everyone, and welcome to Jennifer Clair Astrology. I'm Jennifer Clair, and on this channel, you'll hear topics on spirituality and astrology to help you evolve. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you the third video in my series called Discover Your Life Purpose Through Astrology. In it, I will be discussing what it means to have your North Node, aka the life purpose point, in Gemini and in the third house. So if you need to take notes, I would have your notebook handy and I will pull up my slides so we can begin. So whenever we're talking about the lunar nodes in astrology, we're talking about the North Node and the South Node. The North Node represents our Dharma. This is our life purpose, and it's where we're headed in this lifetime. It looks like a horseshoe. And then the South Node is our karma. So this is what we've already done, and it's where we're moving away from. So that symbol is just horseshoe turned upside down. Now, when you locate these in your chart, you can remember, okay, I'm focusing on the North Node. That's my life purpose point. Now what you're looking at is the Wheel of Houses. The Wheel of Houses shows us what area of life the third house represents. So as you can see, the third house is a lot about how we learn and take in information. It represents our early education at a time when our minds are exposed to everything in our local environment. This is why you see the word siblings, because similar to our classmates and our neighbors, our siblings were in close proximity to us when we were growing up, and they likely influenced our understanding of the world. But if you did not have siblings, don't worry, this word simply won't apply to you, but the rest will. Above all, the third house is where we take in information, assimilate it from our environment, and form our own perceptions. It's very much based around our mental development and our capacity to learn. So if you have your North Node in the third house, it means that you are here to learn and possibly to teach what you have learned. You need a lot of mental stimulation in this lifetime. You can become easily bored if you do not have enough to do. You like to stay busy, and you need people to ask you questions. Questions are paramount to your existence because they get your own creative juices flowing. They give you a problem to solve and something to think about. And you are here to use your mind and think of solutions. You're also here to get good at asking other people questions because it is through their answers that you receive helpful information, which expands your own perceptions. Just like a North Node in Gemini, a North Node in the third house needs to have problems to solve and answers to think up. This mental activation is what makes you thrive. Another thing to consider about the third house is how you are serving those people right in front of you, because the third house represents our local community. And you might want to ask if there is a job that would require you to communicate a message within your local community. An example of this would be a teacher at a local school or a marketing consultant in your city. There are many possibilities here, but one key thing to keep in mind is that you are called to communicate some message, to use your voice, to speak up. And this may very well mean that you have to refine your communication skills, your ability to speak clearly and listen well. And this could mean you have to go back to school for additional training. We must not forget that the third house is just as much about educating yourself as it is about sharing information with others. Now let's move on to having your North Node in Gemini. If you have your North Node in Gemini, you are learning to develop the skill of active listening. One of the reasons why asking questions is so important, whether you have your North Node in the third house or in Gemini, is because you need to expand your mind. You are here to absorb information, and if you cannot listen to others, you miss out on the opportunity not only to learn something new, but to respond in a way that's authentic, in a way that you couldn't have responded prior to their question. So, questions are key because they stimulate new areas of your brain, which bring to your awareness answers you didn't even know you had. and then your genius comes out. Thus, Geminis are learning to be spontaneous in their approach to learning. They will still benefit from book knowledge, doing research, finding facts, and basing their decisions on logic over intuition, simply because this is how they are wired to evolve in this lifetime. But they also need to be undistracted, undistracted enough to really listen to people, the people who are around them. Because it is the people who are around them who can offer them their greatest opportunity for growth. Without these people asking them questions, they'd never be able to share their brilliant solutions and intellectual insights. Another key concept about Gemini North Node is that these folks are here to multitask. Their brains move very fast, and the last thing they want is to feel boredom. They would rather have 5 balls to juggle in the air than none. And they are very inspired by variety. The saying, variety is the spice of life, was probably coined by a Gemini. They need to keep things interesting. So if you have this placement, you may even have more than one job, or you may have a job that is constantly requiring you to learn new information. So it's challenging you mentally. Some possible jobs for a Gemini North Node could be a teacher, a journalist, a scientist, a sales representative, a marketing or design consultant, definitely a writer, blogger, author, or speaker, because these people are here to refine their communication skills and share what they've learned with others. But this skill can also manifest as a computer software engineer, a website designer, or anything in the field of education. As I say all this, we must remember that the life purpose point is not necessarily indicative of your career. It's simply supplying us with traits and skills that you are here to develop so that you can apply these in any number of ways or areas of your life. In summary, we want to remember these key points about Gemini, the Gemini North Node. They get excited by learning. New information and mental stimulation are required for their evolution, and they need to be exposed to questions. It is through questions that they are guided to their most illuminating answers. And on that note, I would like to end with 3 things that you can ask yourself now if you have a Gemini North Node. How can I become more open-minded? How can I become more curious? And how can I become a better listener and more perceptive to details? That wraps up my video on the North Node in Gemini and the 3rd house. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below, and I look forward to sharing more with you soon.